Thank you. Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Duffy, congratulations to you and your beautiful family. I also want to congratulate our chairman. You know, his opening remarks, I didn't know my good friend and firebrand from Texas ever sang Kumbaya to anybody, anytime. I'm learning a lot here. There you go. Mr. Duffy, I believe you are very highly qualified to be the secretary. I certainly plan on supporting you. You are certainly as qualified as the current Secretary of Transportation, who I supported 4 years ago, so I'm hoping all of my colleagues on this committee, everybody, will support Mr. Duffy. I think your vision of a golden age for transportation is a great vision. I appreciate our meeting. As I mentioned, my state has a lot of unique challenges on infrastructure. We're resource-rich, infrastructure-poor. Alaska is 120 times bigger than Connecticut, and we have less road miles in Connecticut. Yeah. No offense to Wisconsin, we're over 10 times bigger than you guys, and we have less than 1/7 the amount of roads that Wisconsin has. And much of the discussion on infrastructure and transportation in DC talks about rebuilding infrastructure or paving roads, but it doesn't often focus on the fact that in some places we don't even have infrastructure. Alaska wasn't even a state when the Eisenhower administration launched the big federal highway building program. So I'm going to ask you the easiest question of the day. Will you commit to coming to Alaska in the summer? You can bring your family. You can do salmon fishing with me after we hit some infrastructure.
And this is an easy one.
Maybe you go after your trip to Hawaii. But will you come to my state and see these challenges? Because they're real challenges. You can hear about them, but unless you're on the ground, it's tough.
I would love to come to Alaska, and I promise you I will not sing any Hobo Jim for you.
Oh, you're right.
I sang to him in the office.
That was very good.
It was very good.
Thank you. Let me talk about another one that you and I talked about. I just want to get your commitment on. We have 251 communities in Alaska that are not connected by roads. Yes. Most people in America think, wait, every community is connected by roads. Well, not in our state. So air service is essential. Essential air service is essential. Dozens of communities in Alaska are covered by the Essential Air Service program and would have no other way or means to get food or get people out of their communities. Will you commit to supporting ample funding for the Essential Air Service program in the DOT budget?
Senator, I was surprised. I think you indicated you have more than 60 Essential Air Service airports in Alaska, which it's a big number. I have several in my old congressional district. I know how important it is to my communities, which probably have closer access to airports than your communities. So yes, I have been a supporter and will continue to support Essential Air Service.
Great. I'm really glad you highlighted aviation safety. Given our lack of roads and our isolated communities, we have more pilots per capita than any state in the country, but unfortunately, we have the highest rates of accidents, including fatalities on aviation. The NTSB in February 2020 put out a big report dealing with Alaska aviation and listed these numbers, which are very troubling. Can you continue to work with me on the Alaska Safety Initiative? It was in the FAA bill this year. It's focused on better available weather data reporting, infrastructure for some of these small rural airports. This year's FAA bill authorizes up to $25 million annually for this safety initiative for Alaska, which is desperately needed given our very high rates of crashes and fatalities.
Yes, sir. I wasn't aware until you pointed out how many fatalities you have in Alaska. I would welcome the opportunity to work with you on that issue.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of the air traffic controllers as well. They do incredible work in my state. And so I'm glad you did a shout out to them at the beginning. Let me ask one final question. It's a long, big topic, but it's so important. We talked about it. It's permitting reform. We need it. A lot of people say we need it, and then when we try to get anything done, we can't get anything done. A lot of my view, lower 48 radical environmental groups use NEPA to block projects, not help projects. We have, we're kind of the parade of horribles in Alaska. Secretary Chow helped break a NEPA logjam in the Cooper Landing bypass on the Sterling Highway on the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska. It took almost 40 years to get that EIS. Okay, this is madness. And took 20 years to permit a gold mine in Alaska. Senator Cantwell had this issue of a new runway at SeaTac Airport. Took 15 years to get the permits just to build a new runway. So what are your ideas on NEPA reform, and will you commit to making that a top priority? I've talked to President Trump about it. I know it's a really big focus of his. We have a great opportunity, but we need it. And enough talk on this. We got to do something.
We do. So again, the length of time it takes to do projects, way too long. The NEPA process is complicated and time-consuming. We don't have to trade in making sure we protect the environment to do projects. And so I would like to work with this committee, which obviously has a very large role in permitting reform, but I commit to do what I can at the department to speeding up the process.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you very much, Chairman.